The sign out front says it all. Las Vegas kicks off NASCAR's playoffs. And the first official order of business, Media Day, a chance for all of us and you at home to see and hear from the 16 drivers who will race for the championship. Now, before they race on Sunday and immediately before they do burnouts on the strip.
All out of my luck, I'm taking my chances with all the odds in my favor. I'm shooting for the moon, taking a gamble on you.
Media Day being held at South Point Hotel and Casino and Spa on the south end of the Strip. Brendan Gaughan holding a celebrity bowling tournament this evening. Yes, they have a bowling alley. They have an equine center here at the South Point. Of course, the only horses that matter are the ones that will be racing at Las Vegas Motor Speedway with two-time Las Vegas winner Jeff Burton here at the South Point. And we like to call this the other show. That's what we've been calling it all day, the other show. The chance, though, for all 16 drivers, we've been here for a few hours here in this ballroom, and they've all been sort of milling around behind us with quite a lot of media duties.
They were busy all day, and they want to be on the racetrack. They want to they want to get on the racetrack, get these playoffs started. But before we got a chance to talk to all of them, and we heard some really interesting things. I find it fascinating how different drivers and different teams approach these playoffs, whether it's one lap at a time or 3 races at a time. We had one driver say he doesn't care. Like, what's going on with the playoffs? He just goes out and races, doesn't look at points or anything. I think he's lying. But it's interesting to hear all the different thought processes going into the playoffs.
And you're going to hear that. I mean, Media Day, this event was, you needed a credential, but really you don't at home because we're going to bring it to you. You're going to hear from all 16 drivers in some way, shape, or form. Of course, from here, they have all moved on to their next activity, which is the Burnout on the Boulevard. The stage is being set for that fun event, and that's where we find Kelly Stavis, Steve Letarte, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Krista. I'd say we've got the best seats in the house when the Burnout on the Boulevard gets started here, right here on the corner just off of Las Vegas Boulevard. We've got the Wynn Palazzo and the Fashion Show Mall. And guys, Dale, welcome, by the way, because Steve and I did this last year.
Yeah.
You're in for some fun.
I know. I've never seen this from this perspective, so I've always either been in the car or watching it on TV, so this will be pretty awesome to hear the sounds. I'm sure those engines are going to get really, really loud. Be great, too, to be able to see the crowd reaction to this event. I'm sure that's pretty tremendous as well. The drivers are going to have to get real creative today. Last year was pretty special with the nose-to-nose burnout that Blaney and Chase had.
Well, you mentioned the crowd. They talked about the Media Day and how the drivers were preparing for the playoffs. Well, Las Vegas is ready. Yeah. I've been here for about a day now. You walk through the casinos. The fans are here. They're out in full force. They're here on the Strip for the Burnout show. So ever since this has become the kickoff to the playoffs, it seems like Las Vegas has really embraced it, and this Burnout show is just one more great example of how we can highlight the city. And you mentioned the nose-to-nose burnout.
We still have about an hour to go before the burnouts, and yet we've already got a great crowd around us. No one is deterred by this beautiful Las Vegas weather, might I add. All right, so between the three of us, one of us knows how to effectively do a burnout. So I'm really going to be looking to how Dale Jr. Scores these, because I feel like Steve and I were pretty generous last year.
Yeah, I wish I'd have got a lot more practice at doing those burnouts, I'll tell you that. But these guys, some of them have a lot of practice. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick. But then there's the guys like Blaney and Chase that don't have a lot of cup wins but have the most creative burnout. So will these guys get together and come up with some new things that we can see? I mean, there's a small box to work in. What can you do with a race car and 4 tires? I mean, there's only so much. So it'll be fun to see what those guys come up with today.
Well, the pressure's on the mechanics. Kyle Larson didn't even get to drive down the Strip, so he's going to look forward. It's his first Burnout on the Boulevard, even though he took part last year.
Yeah, he was riding along in the back of the truck with Rutledge, unfortunately for him. Well, a lot to look forward to there. But first up, we get to hear from all 16 playoff contenders, and we kick things off with Marty Snyder, who's with Kyle Busch.
Well, Kyle Busch trying to make the championship for the 5th straight year, comes in with 45 playoff points. So people want to say it's a lock. You guys are to mine. You got all those playoff points, but you can't approach it that way, can you?
No, certainly you don't want to ever have to fall back on your insurance policy. You know, you pay for insurances, I guess, in life for particular reasons, but you always hope to never use them, I guess.
Yep.
And that's kind of the same way right here. So obviously we've got the bonus points. We've got a little bit of a cushion there, and we'd like to be able to go through and win races in each of the rounds and to be able to transfer ourselves automatically through to the next round and get ourselves all the way to Homestead. That'd be nice.
I find it funny how people want to say the 18 team is in a slump. I mean, it's been 12 whole races since you won. My goodness, right?
I feel that way, yeah.
Yeah, right. But has it been a frustrating couple of months because of all the speed you've shown? Just seems like little things kind of creep up that keep you from getting to victory lane.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've had some speed. We've been able to get out front, and in the times that we've been able to get out front, we haven't been able to hold on to that. You know, for whatever reason, with other guys beating us off pit road or whatever, and then we can't go back out there and pass the leader again to be able to get back to the lead. It just doesn't seem like it's possible these days. So makes it tough to be able to win races when you can't pass the leader. But overall, we've been up front. We've been in contention. We just need to make sure that we keep doing our job. And hey, one of these days we're going to win a race off pit road at the end of the race, and we're going to win the thing.
Let's talk about this race on Sunday. It's going to be, what, 100 plus 10 degrees, right? I mean, it's going to be warm on Sunday. It was 60 in the spring. So how different of a race is it going to be Sunday versus what it was a few months ago?
It's going to be way different. The track's way different. We've only done this last year. Was the first year we did the spring race and then the summer race. And so now coming around this time, we know kind of what to expect. We know what to look for and to try to make ourselves better, make our cars better, and to have a better understanding of that race in itself. But overall, we didn't run that well here last time around. So other guys were way better than we were, but we need to make sure that we can run in the top 10, and then once we're not going to qualify well. We have kind of shown that this year, and we just need to make sure that we can run in the top 10, and then we can run in the top 5, and then we can try to go after top 3 or a win or something like that. So you got to manage your expectations throughout the day.
So I've asked this of all the JGR guys. So it's been a friendly rivalry all year long. You guys have said that in the media, and I know it's not fun to your teammates beat you, but how long does it stay friendly in the playoffs? Does it always stay friendly even to the very end if you're on the championship 4, or are there tense moments when you're racing your teammate for a title?
For myself, the experience that I have in that is myself and Carl Edwards going after a championship a few years ago where we both made it to the Final Four. Actually, the year before that was 2015. I think I was the last guy in, and I bumped Carl out. Yep. And then we made it. Both of us made it the next year. So we stayed true to form the whole way through. All the way through into Homestead. Actually, I was leading with like 30 laps to go, and Carl ran me down, and I let him go because I was like, "There's no sense. I'm not going to hold him off. There's no sense in me holding him up." So he got the lead from us and went on to lead, and then that dreaded late race caution came out and kind of ruined his chances and ours, for that matter, because we were second at that point. But it just that's how I look at it. If you gotta race a guy real hard, you do it, and if he's way better than you, then you might as well just let it go.
All right, give us a quick preview of Burnout Boulevard. Is the whole goal just to scare your passenger? It would seem like that'd be fun to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's much scaring, though, So
it could be fun, They're not really buckled in.
It's absolutely fun. You just get a great sense of being in a race car. I mean, we're going 5 miles an hour down the strip, whatever it might be, But then when you get to do the burnout and stuff like that, it gets loud and gets smoky and gets a little chaotic and gets to be pretty fun. So it's just an enjoyable experience for the folks, and hopefully they have a good time with it.
All right, the Vegas native going to put on a show today. Burnout Boulevard coming up in a bit.
With Kevin Harvick, who I feel like we just talked to from Victory Lane at the Brickyard. So
That's a
I thought,
thing.
yeah, it is a good thing.
Yeah.
But what can I ask you that's different? Maybe you can give us a representation of what this is all like. You guys do how many interviews throughout this media day with all different sorts of publications and sources?
Well, there is a lot of work, and there are a lot of things to do, but I feel like this is a lot more productive than it used to be. It's much more organized, and I feel like the way that NASCAR has gone about a lot of the things this year with the way that they advertise and the track promos and the week-to-week advertising has been very effective. When you look at the TV ratings and you look at the interaction with the fans, for me coming here this year is exciting because of the fact that you've seen all the numbers and you've seen the effect of all the work that we're doing. So it is a lot of work, but it has been very effective this year.
So you're a veteran now. I don't know if I'm not saying you're old. I'm
I've
saying
learned
you're
that
a veteran.
few times today.
But this is like your 10th straight playoff, I think.
Yep.
And so how does it feel different this time?
It doesn't feel any different, but I can tell you that I I just feel like you know what to do, and the expectations are what you want to achieve because we have. We've had our backs against the wall. We've won the championship. We've been to the playoffs. I don't feel like there's anything that should surprise us as we go through this, and I feel like that's a good thing because there will be a lot of moments that you go through that are intense, a lot of moments that you go through that something's gone wrong, that you have to adapt and adjust and move forward. So the one thing I do know is that every lap matters because every lap leads to the next one. And when every lap leads to the next one, what I mean by that is, in practice and qualifying, where you qualify and where you start the race and where you finish the first stage, it's a constant progression. And I think, approaching that as one lap at a time instead of worrying about what next week's race is or what might happen or what could happen. Let's just focus on the things that we can control now. And, I think that has worked well for us over the past few years.
Have you ever seen a year that there was so much evolution from the start of the year to where you are right now in regard to how teams look at the cars and how you guys drive them?
Yeah, and I don't think so. I think as we went to the COT way back when, we still had the old style car and we still had the COT, but it didn't seem like it changed so rapidly compared to the way that the season has changed this year. And even the way that you race and the way that you approach things and the things you do and then go into the simulator. I mean, there's just a number of things that have become so much different as to what's acceptable and how you go about it and how you think about a race. And it's for the past several weeks we don't even do qualifying runs because you're so confident in from where you were in race trim to where you go in qualifying and the adjustments that you make to the car before the race are just so much different and so much bigger. The adjustments are so much bigger than what they've been in the past in order to make your car do something. So it's somewhat intriguing to me. It's very intriguing to me to see how much it's changed because it also keeps you enthused and engaged.
Well, definitely heading into the playoffs with momentum. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Kevin Harvick is one of 6 past champions in this year's playoffs. Up next, we're going to talk to 3 more. Defending champion Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, and Kurt Busch. As we continue to get you ready for Burnout on the Boulevard. The fans are ready. We hope you are too.
Mark Martin, he said, this kid is the greatest thing I've seen since sliced bread. Well, that nickname has stuck. Joey Logano at 28 years old, fulfilling a dream to claim his first ever Cup Series championship. Oh my God! Yeah! You are the man when it comes down to it.
We did it! We won the championship. I can't believe it.
Such a cool moment. A decade after entering the sport, Joey Logano took the crown last fall. Now he has to defend it. Logano claimed his ticket to this year's playoffs early with a win right here in Las Vegas. The champ spoke with Marty.
Well, clearly Joey Logano knows how to get it done when it comes to the championship run and the playoffs. I want to ask you, though, are you actually in a better position this year to win the championship than maybe you even were last year coming into this Vegas race?
Oh, I definitely think so. Last year we were definitely an underdog. We weren't even close to a favorite at this point. Yeah. And I'd say, honestly, as a team, we weren't in championship form at this point last year.
Okay.
I say we're way closer now. We've got way more playoff points than we did last year, which is great.
And more speed.
We got way more speed in our car. I'm excited about it. I love the playoffs. This is, to me, my favorite part of the year. I look forward to this moment to where you can kind of go out there and show what you're made out of and let that pressure, kind of grow you into something and make you better and as a team, not just me as a driver, but everybody has the opportunity to be better, and I look forward to that.
So why are you better in the playoffs? Is it just because of that pressure and you're one of the unusual guys who actually likes that and lives for this kind of pressure every week?
It's because you have to be better, right? That's why you don't have an option. We know what that pressure feels like. We've been through the ups and downs, and we've stuck together as a team, right? We've gone through the good as the championships. We've gone through the bad with missing the playoffs. And the core group is really pretty similar for the most part to where we've done it all together. And I think that makes us a pretty strong team. Anytime you go through any trials and tribulations that's really tough and you stick together, you're going to be stronger if you can stick together through it.
how did missing the playoffs, 17, right? Missed playoffs, and then coming back and being an underdog and winning everything, how'd that make you a better driver and better prepared to win the title this year?
I think it made me a better person.
Okay.
And as a better person probably makes you a better driver, but you just learn kind of a little bit more perspective. You kind of don't take anything for granted. The year before we missed the playoffs, we finished second in the points.
Right.
So you kind of think making the playoffs, well, that's going to be simple, right?
right. That's gonna be
tell you what, this year after we won the championship, I didn't take making the playoffs for granted. I didn't think that was going to be something simple to do because I've been down that road before.
Right. For part of the summer, you guys were really more chasing stage points, and it kind of put you in weird spots at the end of races. It was a very unusual summer for the 22 team.
We definitely did. We raced pretty hard to try to get as much points as possible. We wanted to win the regular season championship, right? That was the goal. We were in contention. It was pretty much the 18 and the 22 that had a shot at it. We were in the point lead at that point, and the wheels kind of fell off for a little bit. It was like one thing after another, just goofy things, but not like our cars were slow and things weren't going well. It's just that just goofy, weird things were happening, and that would be concerning if we didn't have speed, right? If you were running 15th every week and these things were happening, boy, now that really takes the winds out of the sails, and all of a sudden you start to lose that momentum that you want to have. It's nice to have a solid run and that nothing happened. Okay, great. You don't want to go to a week and say, oh, I wonder what it's going to be this week. You don't want that. But I think we fought through that period, and then I think anytime you kind of get to the playoffs, you kind of get that, like I said, a extra bit of energy that I always talk about, trying to find that fifth gear, and it's not in our transmissions. I can tell you that much. But you better figure out how to get to it.
You won here in the spring. It was a much cooler day. You studied the film last night. How different is the track going to be when it's 105 degrees outside on Sunday?
Yeah, it's obviously slick, right? You're going to be, and I think that changes the strategy of this race quite a bit. There was some two-tire calls, and some of them worked. But I think now is it being hotter, you're probably going to be lifting more. So I think that will change some of the strategy of the race. And the track's going to be wide. We saw cars running up against the wall in the spring. It's going to be warmer. More cars are going to be up against the wall, maybe in the wall. Right. Hopefully it's not us. But this is a great racetrack. This is a track that really presents some great racing with this 550 package.
If he can repeat at Vegas and sweep the year, what a way that would be to start the playoffs for Joey Logano in 2019.
With Brad Keselowski, we've been talking about building trucks and building championships. That's the goal, obviously. We heard from your teammate Joey already. We're going to hear from Ryan in a little bit. But this is old hat for you. I mean, how does this year maybe different, or what do you go into this year's playoffs with the mindset of?
Well, I think obviously last year my teammate Joey Logano won the championship, and it shows the capabilities and possibilities that Team Penske has to run up front and win in this kind of playoff format. We've, the last few years been in position and just different things. It hasn't come together, Krista. And that can rattle your confidence. But for me, seeing Joey win was almost like an infusion of confidence last year that, we can overcome some of those hurdles. So I think we're really charged up and ready to go.
So where are you guys? So early in the year, Team Penske was the team to beat. Gibbs and some other people have gotten better. Where do you guys think you are right now?
Yeah, we had a really strong spring, beginning of the year stretch, quite a bit weaker summer stretch. And so hopefully that's, turning around the momentum for the playoffs right now, because obviously Indianapolis didn't go the way we wanted it to, but we had a really strong string of runs before that, but never any dominating runs. We want to go out and dominate. To win a championship, you need to be able to do that, because you have to win your way out of bad spots that you're inevitably going to fall into. And the way to do that is by having dominating races. So hopefully that is just around the corner for us.
Well, starting off at, I would say, one of your best tracks, at least on paper. I mean, Las Vegas, we were looking at the stats. You have either won or been passed for the win, unfortunately, 6 of the last 7. Meaning you've been right there. So, I mean,
6 of the last 7?
Yeah.
6 of the last 7.
How about that?
There's a Vegas.
How about that? We just taught Brad something he didn't know.
That's good.
Feeling better now?
Yeah, no, that is great. We've won 3 of those and we lost 3. That's kind of a bummer. But no, it's been a good track for us, and certainly one that we look forward to coming to every year. One, because it's Las Vegas, but the other part because of how well we run, and I think we'll have a great shot at this weekend.
So this first round, we talk about who's going to win a championship, but really it's a matter of who can advance, right? And then you get the home set, right?
Absolutely.
So So what round concerns you? What tracks concern you? What is the biggest obstacle?
I mean, all of them.
They all concern you?
Yeah, I think because, the racing is intentionally unpredictable. And, I thought last year that we would kind of breeze through the second round. We ended up getting eliminated in the second round. We went to Dover, ran really well, and got wrecked with 2 or 3 to go on a restart, running third, That just shows you how those things can happen so fast. And then we went to Talladega, and the week after that, and we were running up front, running third or fourth, and the yellows fell the way they did, went overtime, and we ran out of gas. And next thing you know, we're, 20, 30 points out, just like that. And it happened so fast and really didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
So I think that with that in mind, that, I look at it and say every race should concern you.
Are you a Vegas guy? Like, obviously for the racetrack, but when you're in Vegas, do you enjoy it?
I have a lot of fun here, but not on race weekends.
Yeah. No,
that's
understandable.
How about do you look at the Vegas odds? Have you looked where you are?
I think the Vegas odds are great because the one thing about Vegas is they're gonna tell you straight.
Yes,
There's no fluff about odds at Vegas. There's a lot of fluff in Vegas, but not odds. They have money on it, so they don't care about promoting someone. They really are going off of what they think is best. So hopefully we can convince them through our performances on the track that we're one of the best.
All right. I feel like we should call you Mr. Vegas because Brad always tells it straight, too.
He does tell it straight.
Oh, thank you. I try. Some days better than others.
All right. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Well, good chance to talk to Las Vegas native Kurt Busch about how this weekend has sort of impacted his city. Burnout Boulevard's fun.
Oh, it's a blast.
And the race is fun, too. So this second race in Vegas, has it made a big impact on the city?
I think so. I mean, with the whole sports movement here, with with the Golden Knights, there's a WNBA team, the Raiders are on their way. But to have that second date, it really puts that big power play in for NASCAR.
Right.
And the importance of this race, it's huge because it kicks off the playoffs. I mean, the NASCAR playoffs start here in my hometown, and it's a great feeling. It's cool to put this motorsports side of things right in front of everybody.
If you look at last year when you were at Stewart-Haas, you guys had tons of speed. You had a lot of momentum coming in the playoffs too. But I could argue you're maybe in a better position to win a championship this year with a team around you and how Matt McCall's been calling races. Would you agree with that?
I agree. It feels wholeheartedly more clear, crisper and stronger.
Yeah.
And it's because I think we overachieved early in the year, and then we settled in. Things were going good, right? And then things went bad, and it was good lessons. It was good lessons to learn from. And one big lesson was we were leading at Michigan, and he's like, okay, I need you to save a little bit of gas. And at the end of the day, we ran out of gas. And I'm like, well, you told me to save a little bit, but I needed more urgency over the radio.
Yeah.
It's that same voice, but it needs to be clearer and crisper and stronger. And I think we've gone through enough lessons now to be in that right position and to go through these 10 weeks the best way we can.
When you look at the playoff tracks and how teams finished earlier in the year, where would you say the one team ranked? I know the answer. I don't know if you know the answer.
Oh, shoot, I don't know.
Second best.
No way, yeah.
Points earned at the playoff tracks earlier in the year. Does that surprise you a little bit, maybe?
It does, but yet it's that consistency, and that's what I told Matt McCall. Matt's like, oh, we're going to go win every race. It's like, easy, man. The playoffs are a different game.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the strength of this one car. And early in the year, we finished 5th at Vegas. I think we were like 12th at Richmond. The Roval, road course. If we get through that one, then I think we're on our way to Homestead. That's my goal.
Let's talk about the dynamic with you and Kyle Larson. He has said, and he told me a little while ago that he feels like you've helped him so much. Do you enjoy that leadership role with him? Because he seems like a sponge. He's picking up everything you're telling him.
I don't want him to go too fast now. I'm going to have to try to reel him back in. But it's a great feeling to have the 42 and the 1 pushing each other at this point. I'd say these last 10 races, that 42 car has been the sleeper and gaining a lot of points that not a lot of people are thinking of him, or he's not on everybody's radar. But I've been watching, and it's a great feeling to have all that coming together, and we're going to push each other through this playoff.
My goal for the weekend is to look as enthusiastic as you did when you were ringing the siren for the Golden Knights. That's my goal for this weekend. That's
all right,
awesome.
man. You got to pace yourself.
Don't pull it out too early.
Yeah, you got to get all the way to the end. Ease into it.
Okay,
ease into it.
Cool. Well, Las Vegas native Kurt Busch would love to win this weekend in the playoff debut here in 2019.
I I really like Marty's goals. Coming up, traffic is always thick on Las Vegas Boulevard. It's about to be limited to only these 16 cars. All right, 17 with Parker Kligerman. He's in the NBC car. You're going to see it coming up. Plus, more interviews from Media Day.
My first playoffs a couple years ago, I said it's an advantage not being in them because we're green and we got nothing to lose. And now I'm like, yeah, it's good to have experience in them. But I don't approach the playoffs any differently than the regular season. I mean, personally, to me, I want to carry that intensity level all season. And the goal is the same. You want to win races. You want to get points. I race like it's playoff time every single week. I think that's how I am. That's how I want to be. As far as kind of how I approach it is, you're going to be aggressive. I've been aggressive all year, and that's kind of how you always are.
I'm glad to be a feel-good story. It's better than the opposite. But I'm not where I want to be as far as successfulness to have the best shot that we can going into the first race. Now, I'm not saying we can't be that team going into Homestead, and I realistically know that we're at a performance disadvantage, but I feel like we're doing our best to make up for that, and we will close that gap. I just can't tell you how much.
It's just been really good here lately. The last couple months, we've had a lot of speed in our cars, especially these last couple weeks. So I feel like our team, for both the 1 and the 42 are peaking at the right time, to start the playoffs. Early in the year, when we were having bad finishes and crashes and things, our cars were still good. I felt like we were around a 10th place car. Right now, I feel like we're a top 5 car. I feel like we're so close to winning. I felt like we could have won Darlington, could have won Indy. That's 2 races in a row we could have won.
This is an opportunity for us to kind of Control-Alt-Delete, hit reset, and start into the playoffs. I don't do well with multitasking. I don't know if it's just a man thing or my wife says it's a man thing, and I can't think about a lot of other things. Like, I do really good at monotasking, and so for me, my monotask this week is Las Vegas. I do best that way. When I start thinking about too many other things and get distracted by too many other thoughts, I'm not at my best.
Our monotask is thank you for coming over here and spending some time with us. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
You can see complete interviews for every playoff driver at NBCSports.com/NASCAR. And we are just under 40 minutes before the strip is going to get very loud. Burnout Boulevard, driven by Goodyear, coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, we'll continue to get you ready for the playoffs. Here are the playoff standings. Again, the 16 drivers who still have a shot at the championship. And Jeff Burton, you saw all of them, talked with most of them here today. Is there anyone who really stood out to you or someone who had something to say that surprised you?
Yeah, I thought you and I kind of said the same thing after he left, and that was Kevin Harvick and just his now listen, winning 3 out of the last 7 will do that. The confidence that he has. But when he sat down with us, he was just, I know what we got to do, and he wasn't talking about anything other than just racing, and like he wasn't caught up in the positives and negatives. All that's just, we got a job to do. I know how to do it. My team knows how to do it, and he just seems focused. Like, he seems to me to just be so focused, understands the mission, and he was the calmest and the guy that I felt the most collected of everyone we talked to.
And something else, he also seemed to not be taking any of this for granted, though, at the same time. Focused, yes, but sort of said, yeah, it's a privilege to be here and to be doing these interviews and to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, and listen, I hate to just pinpoint one person because I thought William Byron, I thought he showed it, like, he was tremendous amount of maturity his first playoffs, and he seems very comfortable, like, hey, we belong here,
right?
And I didn't see anybody that seemed like the moment was too big for them. I just felt like Kevin was just very, very relaxed.
Yeah, absolutely. So Chase Elliott, how is he feeling right now going into the playoffs? Well, Marty spoke with him.
Well, there you see Chase Elliott, 7th in the championship standings, come into the playoffs, and kind of building some momentum, 4 top 10s in the last 5 races. Do you sense things have kind of turned the right direction as you start the playoffs? Maybe you kind of frown at that, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the past couple weeks haven't been the best.
Yeah.
Wrecking on pit road last week obviously wasn't a good way to end it. But I feel like we've had pace at times. We just got to put that stuff together more often and eliminate some of those mistakes like that and try to have some uneventful Sundays would be nice.
Would it surprise you if I told you of the playoff tracks that are in the playoffs, of those races earlier this year, you earned the most points? Would that surprise you?
No. I felt like there was, I felt like we went on a stretch there at the beginning of the year. We were scoring a lot of points and we were having some really good runs. So no, I'm not surprised by that. And I felt like there was a point in time we were, throughout this season, I felt like we were, we were really, really strong. Stronger, I felt like, at points than we have been at other points, but that stuff comes and goes, and you kind of have to take it in stride. The good news is I feel like we can be that, and we can be that team, and we can earn those points on a regular basis when we're at our best. So I've said that a few times, and I really do believe that. We just got to put it all together.
Because Jimmy is not in the playoffs this year and doesn't have to worry about his own team kind of making a playoff run, what kind of asset can he be to you and everybody else at Hendrick that's in the playoffs?
Oh, I think he can be a huge asset to me, and I'm certainly going to utilize that. I mean, there's no better person to lean on or ask or talk to about these final 10 weeks other than him. So why not talk to him about it, and at least and I think that can be a changing, that can change as it goes along. And I think his perspective and maybe seeing how things are going, and kind of watching us as a team, I think it'd be good to talk to him through it and kind of see what he sees from his perspective as to what we could do better or not. So definitely a good person to lean on.
You guys have shown a propensity to win in the playoffs. You won twice last year. How early do you think you have to win in this year's playoffs to advance on, Chase?
I mean, you want to win each week. I mean,
sure.
I don't really think that changes now. I mean, I feel like the big thing is the playoff points and the bonus points. Everybody talks about that. So, knowing that no matter when you win, or if you're able to grab a win, no matter when it would be through the playoffs, that's going to carry with you from there on. So I don't. If you could win week one, great. You're going to get 5 more points to take with you. So I think if you are able to win, it's good no matter where you do it. And then, like I said, not overlooking these rounds. I don't want to be like, hey, we need to win in round 2 or whatever, because, like I said, I think you have to take them one at a time. And we've seen guys, miss it that you wouldn't necessarily expect miss rounds as it goes along. So we just want to try to be mistake-free, be solid, focus on this first one, and we'll worry about the rest of them after that.
Well, they've made it to the round of 8 the last 2 years. They'd love to take it one step further this year and make it to the championship 4.
So first playoffs. I mean, tell me about the excitement of being in the playoffs for the first time.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's obviously really cool to be a part of it. I think it's it's a different atmosphere, a different intensity level than the regular season. So I'm excited for that. It wasn't a lot of fun last year not being a part of it. So I'm really glad to be a part of it.
Well, and that's the thing. A lot of these guys, 13 times in the playoffs, and they come over to us, and not that there's anything wrong with not being excited to talk to us, but something feels fresh with you. Obviously, you're excited every part of it. Oh, I'm in Vegas. Wait, you're 21 now too. Yeah. So you actually get to experience Vegas.
I do, but I've taken a conservative approach this time around. Hopefully stay hydrated for 100-degree weather on Sunday.
Yeah. I'm impressed you just showed up for this interview. 21 in Vegas. That's pretty good. So listen, we've been watching you race for the last 10 weeks, and I looked at the odds today, and they had you the second most probable guy to win the championship. But in watching you guys run the last 10 weeks, y'all are a lot better than that, aren't you?
I think so. I mean, I think we've done really well for ourselves in the last 10 weeks. Looking at the points and where we've been running as a team has been really strong. So, I think if we can just kind of carry that performance into the playoffs, we can at least progress through the first round, hopefully the second round, and then that round of 8's going to be about winning races. So, we just got to build on it each level of the playoffs. Hopefully, just get through each 3-race stretch and continue to progress.
We say that, you're new to maybe the playoffs picture, but your crew chief certainly isn't. With Chad Knaus being here 16 times. What kind of advice has he? Is that what it is focus on the 3 races at a time?
Yeah, absolutely. He's, he doesn't set our goals too far forward. We've talked about just the first 3 races and trying to just go 1 week at a time. So, like you guys said, I mean, I think the last 10 weeks we've had the speed to do it. So we've got to put together a good race like we did at Indy and see what happens.
So what's the so Vegas has not been very statistically. Vegas hasn't been great for you, but is that of the first 3 races? Is that the biggest concern, or is there another one?
I think honestly the Roval, just getting through that and trying to get to the end of the race with a good shot. I mean, we've run well at the road course races, but you got to finish that one with the race car clean and have a shot. So I don't know. I feel like Richmond and the Roval are probably more of a concern than Vegas, but our mile-and-a-half program has been pretty strong lately.
Something tells me if he's running second at the Roval with a lap to go, that his crew chief's going to be selling, be smart, be smart. Is that a possibility?
It might be. I don't know what he's going to say. He usually calms me down more than he pumps me up, which is kind of funny. He usually tries to. He's like, okay, William, just keep it clean, just keep going. So he's a trip.
Well, let's remember championship experience. So you've done this in the XFINITY Series. Are you going to lean on any of that?
Oh, for sure. I mean, the Truck Series went really well besides the engine deal at Phoenix, and we could have had a shot to win that, and then the XFINITY deal was kind of one of those situations where I had to dig in deeper. So try to lean on that a little bit. Both of those I had a lot of bonus points, the Truck Series I didn't have any bonus points, but the XFINITY Series I did. So I'm kind of coming from the other angle with it this year, but going to try to do all we can.
Thanks, William.
Thank you.
Couple of those young Hendrick Motorsports drivers for you there. Clock ticking down, just over 30 minutes until Burnout Boulevard. When we come back, is this finally Denny Hamlin's year? We're going to talk with him next. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Win your battles, earn your name. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR.
We're going to go down the strip, do some burnouts. You can do it. Just put her in first and pin it. Good luck. Okay. Is there room for one more? Yes, get in. All right, great. I'll get in the back. Go get him, Harv. Is this how you imagined your Burnout Boulevard experience to go, Kyle?
At some point, yes, because I figured our show car would blow up.
Here we go. It's like a tug of war.
That was a Ford versus Chevy battle. Hey, style points though.
Creativity. It's a
Style
solid
points.
10.
Yes, it is.
Oh, man.
Tires come apart.
Do not tear your car up. Whatever you do, go have fun, do a burnout, put on a show, but don't tear your car up. He tore the hell out of it.
Burnout Boulevard, driven by Goodyear, just about 30 minutes away. Jeff, are you looking forward to it?
I am. I love this thing. I love the fans down there, right next to the cars, tires burning. It is a really cool thing.
They are going to burn some rubber. All 16 playoff drivers will take part, including Denny Hamlin. His resume is an impressive one. Now he wants that title. Can he get it done? Marty spoke with him earlier.
Well, how do you not start the day asking Denny Hamlin about how he's going to top last year on Burnout Boulevard, where he absolutely destroyed his race car? So how does one top that?
I don't know. They tell me to take it more easy this year, which I mean, you never should tell a driver
so much
take
fun.
it easy. But
yeah,
I just I kind of let loose there. Maybe a little bit too much.
Had a little fun.
Had destroyed the car quite a bit. So I'll try to keep it all in one piece for sure.
Straight up, I'll ask you, is the 11 team the favorite to win this championship?
I don't know. Maybe you could tell me that.
I'm asking from your perspective.
I don't know.
Are you guys in the conversation?
Sure. I mean, I don't think that there's anyone that we can't beat week in, week out. I mean, that's kind of how I feel, is that we're in a very, very good position. We've earned the right to have a buffer with the playoff points that we've accumulated during the regular season. So, I mean, I feel like there's not a racetrack we can't go and win, and we've proven that really through the summer months, where we've been up front pretty much every week. So I don't see that changing. We'll see how it all goes, but we're about to go into a slew of racetracks for the second time, and we know how our performance has been on racetracks going back to for the second time, and so it's been pretty good.
I think we've been saying for weeks, I know Steve Letart's been saying this, you're more ready to win the title in 2019 than you were in 2010 when you had your other best shot to do it. Give me a few reasons why you would agree with that statement.
Well, I mean, 2010 was different. It was a 10-race playoff.
Right.
It was an accumulation of points over 10 races. And so when we didn't close the door on Jimmy at Phoenix, when we kind of could have or should have, it was frustrating because, I mean, at the time, I should have really thought about, listen, you're still leading the points. Like, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We just didn't, put the foot all the way down the throat like we should have because, I guess we missed on some fuel mileage. But 2014 was my next best shot to win. And we're leading inside 9 laps to go. And, a car a couple laps down wrecks, and caution comes out, and we lose the race to Harvick when he goes and takes tires. So it's, I don't know. We've had opportunities, but certainly things have not always worked out perfectly. But I'm at peace with knowing that if I give it my all and I do what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to be okay with the result, win or lose.
Going to ask all the Gibbs drivers this today. So everyone has said it's a friendly rivalry. No one likes to lose to their teammates, right? Does it stay friendly in the rivalry within their own camp? Does it stay friendly throughout the entire playoffs?
It has. So far, it has from what I've seen. I mean, I know that Truex has been in our meetings now for a few years, even though this is his first year with JGR. And even when him and Kyle were in Homestead just a few years ago, I never saw any tensions or anything. I thought that everyone handled themselves really, really well and stayed professional. And I really don't see that changing because we all need each other. We can't, if that information stops from your teammates, it's going to hurt your performance. And you have to be honest with them, and they have to be honest with you if you want to win for your company.
Well, the fans have poured out of the casinos to watch Burnout Boulevard. Kelly, Steve, and Dale Jr. are on the strip getting ready too. We're going to check in with them at the top of the hour when we return.
I think there's so much more intensity in the playoffs. And you want to be the best. We're all there to win. We all want to be the champ, and we all want to get to Homestead. And it's tough, and I think, for all 4 of us, like the other 3 guys could be the stiffest competition.
Sure.
With the season we've had, with the cars we've had, the team we have. I mean, I feel like there's a really good possibility that one of us is going to win it, and we all 4 want to be that guy.
I don't mind, being under the radar at all. It's kind of nice not to have that pressure on you, feeling like you are supposed to be there, right? And I think it would definitely be kind of an underdog story if we were able to make it all the way to Homestead, and that's probably rightfully so, right? It's only my 3rd year in the Cup Series, so I'd sure love to be there and have an opportunity to do it, but I think definitely the round of 8's our goal.
The plan is to go win this week, not have to worry about the rest of the round, and then everywhere in the round of 12 we finished second at. So
I know.
If we do that again, I think we'll be just fine.
Well, I'll tell you what doesn't suck is the way we're running here lately.
Yeah.
Last 3 races have been, good races, solid races, and I think good enough races to get us to that next round.
Right.
If we can continue that momentum, continue to build on that, right? Baby steps. You don't just take off running, and I feel like we're doing a really good job. We're solid right now, and I think that is good enough to go this first round. That being said, I like the racetracks in this first round. I got to survive. Got to survive Vegas here. I think Vegas is you can't win the championship at Vegas, but you damn sure can lose it.
Yes, you can.
I didn't say that. I implied that we have a good chance.
You're gonna be
I didn't say we're the favorites this year, guys.
A lot of fun. Another reminder, you can see complete interviews for all 16 playoff drivers at NBCSports.com/NASCAR. Well, all 16 drivers have traveled about 9 miles north from the South Point to the Strip, where the anticipation is building as we get closer to Burnout Boulevard. Let's throw it back over to Kelly, Steve, and Dale Jr. Kelly, what's it like down there?
Krista, the crowd has really filled in nicely. People are jockeying for position to see these burnouts. We've got the best seats in the house because it's all going to go down right here in this intersection behind us. Really looking forward to that, but it's been really fun listening to all 16 of these playoff drivers in their interviews there at the South Point. A couple things that stood out to me, the talk of momentum. Clinton Boyer thinks he has it on his side, and then he also said, you can't win the championship here at Vegas, but you can certainly lose it.
Well, they all seem to have confidence, but no one has really poked the bear. Nobody said they're the favorite.
Yeah.
You know, we see when it comes down to 4 drivers and they end up at Miami, we've seen Kevin Harvick at times when all 4 get up in their press conference say, I am the favorite, kind of start those mental games that I'm the guy you're going to have to go beat. With 16 drivers and so much opportunity to perhaps trip up through all the rounds, no one is willing to kind of put themselves out there as the favorite. I heard a lot of confident drivers, but this first round, interesting set of racetracks, Las Vegas, Richmond, and the Roval.
Yeah, I heard some, subdued, tones, no real excitement. And I think at the end of this race on Sunday this weekend, that's going to change. We're going to have some drivers that are upset, frustrated, disappointed for sure. We're going to also have some drivers really, really happy about their position going forward. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out this weekend. I think these drivers have learned to save those mind games for a little further on into the playoffs and try to settle in and get themselves some consistency here.
Well, I think we've seen the favorite have issues in each round in the past. Everybody with a points cushion has needed to lean on that points cushion at times. So I think they're all just a bit nervous, right? There's so much ahead of them.
As valuable as those playoff points are, they have come into play a number of times. Truly, every point counts as we work through the playoff rounds. All right, great to hear from those drivers. Now we look forward to them tearing it up here on the Las Vegas Boulevard. Burnout on the Boulevard coming up next.
I'm taking my chances with all the odds in my favor. I'm shooting for the moon, taking a gamble on you.
It's time for the Burnout on the Boulevard, driven by Goodyear. Welcome to the iconic Las Vegas Strip. Kelly Stavist alongside Steve Letarte and Dale Earnhardt Jr., and we're looking forward to 16 Monster Energy Cup playoff drivers tearing it up right here on Las Vegas Boulevard. It's all going to happen at the intersection right behind us. We've got the police cruisers in place to shut Las Vegas Boulevard down. This is going to be awesome.
Well, the cruisers are in place and the fans are in place. They're everywhere. They're on every overpass, every sidewalk. If there's an elevated perch for a good seat, the fans have found it. The whole atmosphere is just great.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun for the drivers too, because they're in cars that aren't cars they're going to race. Like, they can do anything they want to these cars. They can blow the motors, which has happened last year. They can tear the tires up in the quarter panels. They can get creative with all the things they're going to do. It doesn't really matter. So they can. A lot of their owners are going to tell them not to do that, but they can do the damage and ask for forgiveness later. And when do you get to take a car out on the street? Right? Especially in the city limits of Las Vegas, right downtown here in front of all these people, and do burnouts. I mean, this is a once a year opportunity for these guys. They're going to have fun with it.
I think you're right. They were polite last year, but now that they have a little experience,
Sure.
I'm expecting a little bit more damage this year.
I've talked to a couple of the drivers, and some of them are worried about getting to the final burnout. Like, there's a couple spots
Sure.
where they do donuts, right? So they may kind of test the waters in that first one, but they don't want to break before that final opportunity to really tear it down.
Yeah, I think Denny Hamlin really raised the bar last year. He was not afraid to tear up a little equipment no matter what the rules were laid out ahead of him. But for you, Junior, a little bit different perspective for you this year.
Yeah, I've always either been in the car or watching on TV, so this is going to be great to see the energy and the atmosphere here live. It's definitely going to be a different perspective for me. I know these fans are going to enjoy it. The sounds, the noise, the smells, this is basically everything you enjoy at a racetrack. Burning rubber, loud noises, people cheering. It's going to be just like winning a race out here for these drivers.
That's the biggest thing that surprised me last year is I've been around racetracks my whole life, but when you take a car away from the racetrack and put it on a regular street, it sounds 10 times louder. You're just not expecting it.
Yeah, between all these buildings, it's echoing off the side of these big, tall buildings. It sounds pretty tremendous, I'm sure.
I actually got to do a ride-along a couple years ago with Jeff Gordon, so I have been a passenger in one of the cars, which was very cool.
That's probably the bravest. There's going to be a passenger in pretty much every one of these cars. And I don't know that I would ride in a car with a guy doing a burnout, blowing the tires out, tearing up the quarter panels. That should be pretty crazy inside there.
Depends on who I got to pick. I'm telling you, Clint Boyer, when Denny Hamlin blew that tire last year, Clint Boyer was mad. He played by the rules. I expect him to be the one that really ventures out.
Yeah, I think one of the drivers that I talked to, I can't even remember who it was. I talked to so many this afternoon, but they blew the tire out, and the tire slapped them in the back of the helmet. And so it gets wild in there once that tire starts to destroy the interior of that race car. So once it pops, you got to lift.
Well, and we learned last year, you can't give 10s right away. You got to leave a little bit of room. I think we were a little too easy as far as judging.
I was a little bit too generous. All right, so the drivers have been introduced, and now they're waiting for their turn to burn it down on the boulevard. Marty Snyder, who you got?
Kelly, let's go for a little grid walk here at Burnout Boulevard. Why not? They're starting to clear Las Vegas Boulevard. Let's talk to Denny Hamlin, who blew his car up last year. He said he was going to think about things. So have you thought more about the burnout, what you're going to do?
No, I'm not. We hear so many limitations when it comes to what is the proper thing to do, but nobody ever listens.
Does this person know what they're in for, this passenger? I hope they've signed a waiver.
This is Jordan. She works for Goodyear, and she says she wanted to know if I'm going to blow the engine. And I said, I hope not, because that means we're going to have to walk.
Good luck, Jordan. Don't walk. Okay, we'll see if Denny can keep the engine intact. I heard there was oil. I heard there was oil by your car earlier. Don't worry, Kevin.
Hey, if it'll spin the tires this year, I'll be perfectly happy. Last year it wouldn't even make smoke, so hopefully we can at least make some smoke this year.
Okay, good. Let's make some smoke. All right, we'll go further down the line. He works for smoke, too. The Penske guys have real race cars with them, wait, there's a diagram going on here? Wait, what's the diagram about?
We're working on a top secret plan.
What's the top secret plan, J-Lo?
Like, what's top secret? Why would I tell you?
I mean, just tell America. I mean, there's an actual drawing. It's like a football play in the dirt.
Okay, here's the goal. Here's what we're thinking. Okay. We can go rolling in together, side by side, roasting them up, right? And then we get into the intersection. One's going to go to the right, the other guy goes to the left, do some donuts, and then we merge back together and we leave.
Wow.
But the question we have is, when we're done, maybe you can help us with this. Okay. When we're done with the burnout, are we leaving to go straight down, or we do a U-turn and we're coming back?
No, I think you go straight off, and if you can try and hit the stage where Kelly, Dale, and Steve are, that'd be more fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. They seem like good people.
I'm kidding. They're good people. All right, so you do exit off at the end. You don't have to come back, okay?
Okay, so you go straight.
Yeah, you go straight off. Yeah, okay. We'll walk further down. Chase Elliott texting someone. Who are you texting, Chase? Who are you texting? No, okay. Some strangers, okay. All right, Chase is going to go for a run here in a moment. Eric Jones, are you doing social media right now?
What's that?
Doing social media videos right now?
She was trying to convince me to, yeah. But, you know what? This is better right here than social media. We're getting live on TV. So we're here on the strip. We're going to do burnouts.
There you go. It's going to be fun. I want to show you how prepared Ryan Blaney is, because Ryan Blaney actually has on his dash right here, Ryan has all the front brake bias is turned. It's all turned to the front, Ryan. So you're prepared for burnouts.
Yeah, you get ready. You got to get your brakes right, bunch of front brake in it, and burn out a little bit. Only time you can do a burnout on Las Vegas Strip and not get arrested, so that's good. We're looking forward to it.
What's your prediction on who tears up their car the most?
I think Denny's going to tear his car up. It seems like he does that every year when we come do the burnouts. And I think 2 or 3 of them are not going to make it back. They're going to blow motors. Not this thing, but that's my.
You have a real race engine and a real car that was a backup earlier this year, so don't mess it up too much. Kyle Larson hopes to start today. You going to start today? Yours is good. Okay, thumbs up from Kyle Larson. Hey, Eric Almirola, what's up? You all right?
Yeah, I was just FaceTiming the kids, actually, showing them that we're getting ready to start the parade. So.
Got to FaceTime the kids. It's
yes.
Awesome.
Well, it's bedtime. It's 7 o'clock at home, so they're getting ready for bedtime.
Great point.
That's right. You better be getting ready for bed.
There you go. Get ready for bed, guys. Great story about Ryan Newman and his team. His truck driver actually drove to Memphis Saturday, had to park in Memphis Saturday, had to see if he made the playoffs. He made the playoffs, so your truck driver made it all the way here then.
That's good.
You tear up the car? What are you going to do?
Me? I don't know. I hope not. But I got permission to, so we'll see.
I got permission to tear it up. That's going to be fun. So we took you all the way to the end. Clint Boyer's over there. Actually, Boyer's not even at his car. We'll see if Boyer shows up. We'll see who tears up their car and who has the most fun here on the Las Vegas Boulevard. Burnout on the Boulevard, brought to you by Goodyear, coming up next.
The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series playoffs kick off this Sunday right here from Las Vegas. Coverage starts 9 o'clock Eastern on NBCSN. All right, so the playoffs will start here in Vegas. 10 weeks from now, though, we're going to crown a champion down in Homestead, Miami. Who do you guys pick if you just had to right now, before we've seen a single playoff race, who you got as the champion?
Well, every time we do our fantasy lineups each week, I can't not put Kyle Busch in there. I've tried. There's other races where I can pull those other favorites out, Truex, Harvick, but I always have to have Kyle Busch. He can win anywhere. Now, can he win at Homestead this year? I don't know. I think there's other drivers that can beat him at that racetrack, but I think he gets there rather easily, rather convincingly. My pick once we get to Homestead, I think actually Denny Hamlin. If Denny can get to Homestead, I think he's been around that track. He's successful there. This could be his year.
Well, that's actually my pick for the championship is Denny. I agree that Kyle Busch, the pathway to Miami is very clear to him. He's done it so many times before, and there's not a bad racetrack. I mean, where is he not going to run well? And when I look at Denny Hamlin, 29 bonus points, I think it's going to make a big difference, right? Heading into each round with a little bit of a head start through those 4 wins this year. And when I look at the rounds, Phoenix, Martinsville, that round of 8, he has so many good racetracks. I'm probably most concerned for the round of 12 for Denny Hamlin. I think the bonus points will help him in this first round. The second round, the round of 12, gets much more difficult. If he can get through that group of 3 races, I think then he'll look good in Miami.
And hard to look over Kevin Harvick, who's won 3 of the last 7 races. All right, we're moments away from the guys firing their engines for the burnout on the Boulevard, and Marty Snyder's right in the thick of it.
Well, and the cool thing, Kelly, is the police and fire department starting to clear Las Vegas Boulevard, so that's cool. But check out this crowd here, guys. How about that? They're all here, and if you can see, they're about halfway down the block. This is the starting grid. They're kind of seeing the cars as they're gridded here, but it goes all the way down the whole thing. Look at all this crowd here that's hanging out, watching everybody, and leading the field. And if you didn't see the breaking news on social media a minute ago, Parker Kligerman is leading the field. And the breaking news was that he told us he made the playoffs, and he's actually leading the playoff field. I didn't know that, Parker.
Well, yeah, just doing 10 races, you'd think you wouldn't be in the playoffs, but somehow we did. We're only planning to do 4 races in the playoffs, not Miami. So I don't know how we're going to win the championship, but we're going to try.
Well, so that leads to the question, can you make the Final Four in Miami? Come on, Parker.
I don't know. I guess we're starting the engines, Marty. It's just going to have to stay tuned, watch the playoffs all season, all of the playoffs on NBCSN, NBC, and stay tuned if we do.
All right, the engines have been fired. Kelly Parker's going to fire up his engine, and yes, he really is leading the field here in today's Burnout Boulevard.
Good for Parker. I heard he's not allowed to actually do a burnout, though, so he's going to be a little bit disappointed with that. All right, guys, so we talked about favorites for Homestead. Who do you think are the sleepers in this round of 16?
One driver that jumped out to me is Clint Boyer. He has so much energy, so much excitement. He just went through the pressure of making the playoffs. I think that kind of gives him a little bit of an advantage. I really think he's kind of entering here with nothing to lose. You know, a week ago, when you talked to Clint Boyer, he wasn't sure if he would be doing a burnout on the Boulevard here in Las Vegas. I think that makes him a little more dangerous. It would be a stretch. There are cars he's going to have to outrun that he hasn't consistently outrun. But you take Clint Boyer, you take the pressure off, I think he could do it.
I just don't know if I've seen enough speed out of the 14 car this year to make that kind of a claim, Steve. But Eric Jones, to me, is a guy that I'm excited for. He came into the playoffs last year with so much excitement, in position, having come off his first win in July, and had built a lot of momentum. A lot of people were expecting big things out of him in the playoffs. He wrecked here in Vegas, and that spiraled down to an early exit for him. And so he's in the same position this year with that experience, that knowledge of what he needs to do to go forward and move forward throughout these playoffs. I'm looking at Eric Jones. I just want to watch how he responds. That team is obviously, as a company, performing a lot better this year, so his opportunity is right here.
Are we allowed to call Chase Elliott a sleeper? Because he would be my other one, but I'm not sure if he's a sleeper.
Sure, and my pick, by the way, would be Kyle Larson, who's shown a little bit of momentum and stringing some good finishes together as of late. All right, we can see the guys there, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch, leading this field, and it sounds like they're getting the engines fired. And in fact, there's the green flag, so it's all about to kick off here. The burnout on the Boulevard is ready to begin. As we saw, they get a couple goes at it. They get to kind of thrill some crowds along the way, so we'll see.
You don't think Parker dares do a burnout after he was instructed not to?
Exactly.
That was my question when he said he was told not to. I was thinking, well, all the drivers break the rules. Why wouldn't Parker be any different, right?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how well he behaves himself. I think he's pretty excited to have the opportunity to lead the field of 16 down the Las Vegas Boulevard anyway. All right, and Marty Snyder, by the way, has now climbed on board a truck, and he's got a great view of this as well.
Yeah, we are leading the field. I know Parker said he was. We actually are, Kelly. And yes, I did confirm with Parker he is not going to do a burnout. He got a text from our boss saying, don't do a burnout. So he's going to abide by those rules. But what I find so cool, guys, if you could paint the picture on the side of the Las Vegas Boulevard, as you see to the right of the driver's car, left-hand side of the screen for you guys. I mean, it's packed. There's people everywhere kind of lining the boulevard, watching these cars go by. Even on the right-hand side of Las Vegas Boulevard, there's cars everywhere. There are people everywhere, and they're watching the cars go down Las Vegas Boulevard. And so far, everybody behaving, but we are coming up to our first intersection, so we'll see if anybody does a burnout here on this first intersection as we walk up to that, or drive up to that right now. And man, it's packed there too. There's a nice escalator up there. Denny with a practice burnout there, trying to get the tires a little warmed up for this first intersection. So we'll see. There's a nice escalator here, and there are people everywhere on the escalator trying to get a view of the drivers. And first intersection, see if there's any burnouts. I don't think so, Kelly. Everybody behaving so far. They want to make sure the car lasts until we get to you guys.
I think so. I think we're going to get the big show right in front of us. And I'll tell you, real estate at a premium here as well. We're at the corner of the Wynn, the Palazzo, Treasure Island, and the Fashion Show Mall. And there is not an empty spot to be found.
No, these fans came out, and it was warmer today when the sun was on this side, but it's way cooler than last year. And these fans, Las Vegas, it's a dry heat, is what everyone says, but they're in every kind of nook and cranny, everywhere you can watch. And as I watch these cars come down, how cool is it, Dale? Think about this, Kyle Busch, a hometown guy. So to come here and lead this burnout in the Boulevard in his hometown.
Absolutely, it's got to be great for him. He's very proud of his roots here in Las Vegas and the success that he's had over at the Bull Ring, and anytime he can come here and celebrate, whether it's during the burnouts, winning the championship, whatever, it'll be a great time for him in Vegas. But these guys, I know they're all a little bit nervous. They won't admit it, but you know they're a little bit nervous because every time you do a burnout, you don't want to look like an idiot. You don't want to look like a fool. So we've seen some drivers maybe have some unsuccessful burnouts after they win races. And yet, here you are in front of all these people. I mean, this place is packed. It's like a national parade going through here. And they don't want to come out here in front of all these people and make a mistake, break the car, not be able to do a burnout. Like Harvick said, he was a little insecure about last year, not having any smoke. He's nervous.
Well, and some of these guys have a lot more experience with burnouts as of late than others. I mean, think about some of these guys who haven't won in some time. They haven't even had an opportunity.
And this is like a first pitch. You don't want to mess it up because you will be on it. There's two people that are going to make every highlight reel. The best burnout and the worst burnout.
That's the best analogy. It's like the first pitch. That's why I never do those. Like I didn't get invited to do the first pitch because you don't want to become viral.
Yeah, no, you can't skip that thing into home plate.
That's a quick way to do it. That's 50 Cent.
Is there a more iconic stretch of road in America? I mean, you see the strip, you see this skyline, you know exactly what you're looking at.
And it really amazes me how far NASCAR and Las Vegas and the partnership have come. I remember coming out here for the first NASCAR race years and years and years ago, and it was just amazing to see NASCAR drivers on the marquees as you went up and down the strip. And now the cars aren't on the marquees, they're on the boulevard. And I think it was said the best, this will be the one and only time you could do a burnout and not get arrested. Although, just to be clear, I'm not going to say that won't even happen with this group. There's no telling what these guys are going to do.
Yeah, that's kind of funny you mentioned that because before the burnout on the boulevard, they do get together with the Metro Police. And the Metro, they're kind of strict. They lay the law down on what you can and can't do. They don't really like you to do any kind of burnouts as you're driving in slow pace straight toward these intersections. They don't like you to peel the tires any. Drivers kind of break some of those rules. I think Newman breaks them the most. But the Metro Police, I think you could get arrested today if you go over a couple of those, if you break too many of those rules.
Well, I can see the Metro Police leading them now. I see the lights coming, which means they're getting closer to us. I can see the M&M's Camry of Kyle Busch. So we're just moments away from getting our first real treat. See what these guys bring for us today.
I think if I'm Kyle Busch, I'm complaining. I want to go last, not first. I mean, how am I going to have to be the first guy into the intersection? And as they approach, you can hear the crowd starting to get a little more amped up. I feel like we should have had Parker Mike because I want to know if he's nervous or excited to be leading this field.
It's extremely warm out here, over 90 degrees. That's not going to be easy on these motors. This is a true torture test for engines when you do a burnout with them, set them on its rev chip.
All right, so they're going to line up one by one. And after their burnout, we'll let everyone enjoy that. We're going to give our scores.
Well, Parker's going to obey the rules that he's been given.
He is behaving himself so far.
He's going to skip the intersection, not do a burnout. A little disappointed in Parker.
Yeah, very disappointed. Very disappointed.
All right, getting some last-minute instructions, it looks like there, as they line up in order based on their playoff points.
What do you like out of a burnout, Steve?
I like, you can't just stick in one direction.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's crowd, and in every side there's fans. So you have to kind of play to the crowd in every direction. You got to go a little over in that corner, come over here a little bit.
Oh, really?
They
They
you
have
got to
that
use
kind
the
of
whole
control.
space. No, listen, this is a pallet. They got to use the whole pallet.
How about that plan by the Penske drivers, Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano? If they can pull this off, they had a whole choreographed plan they had mapped out before this. If they can pull that together, that's going to make for some high marks.
So the crew chief in me says that is without a doubt going to be two sides of race cars that are going to have to be repaired. Because when they roll in here, who goes left, who goes right, you got to assume they're going to get it correct.
We know Newman's got free will to do whatever he wants with that Ford.
Yeah.
We'll see if, hopefully, these cars all don't have mechanical issues, and
we'll
see exactly what they can do with it. We got a flatbed just in case. He's ready. We must have not had one of those last year. This is preemptive.
I think they know that it's getting ready to get a little more out of control.
That's a new addition I don't believe we had. So we'll be ready for anybody breaking down now.
Give us some insight into the technique of a really good burnout.
I wish I knew. Honestly, you put all the front brake in it. That's going to lock down the front brakes and allow the rears to spin a little more freely. So you want to cycle all the front brake in it.
And here Kyle Busch goes.
Completely lost in the smoke. Oh, I think we blew the left rear tire.
Not a lot of rubber left on those Goodyears.
See, now I like that. Two directions. Use the whole intersection.
Quite a smoke show. All right, quickly, we got to get our scores as Denny goes.
I don't know if I can write and talk.
All right, steering wheels come off.
And he's coming out.
Some showmanship
Denny
points.
Hamlin is a showman, that is for sure. But I'd say his car stayed a little more intact this year. Everyone expected him to really tear it up. He's not done. That was halftime.
All right, I'm going with a 7 as well. I got a 7 for Denny, a 7 for Kyle, 7.5. All right.
There's Truex.
Truex came out dragging the left front, heavy on the brake right from the start.
Wow. Almost as much smoke, I would say, as Kyle Busch had.
That's an A+ standard burnout, is what I call that. All right,
I'm going to go 6.6 here.
Okay.
Oh, I give him a 7.5.
All right, I give him a 7.0.
By the way, I didn't know we were doing decimals. You introduced a new
He
element
did.
to this.
He did. Yeah. I think he's been watching a lot of pizza reviews.
I mean, listen, I got a dry erase. I could go two digits if needed.
Okay, is there an issue with Kevin Harvick's car? And now
Kevin.
Joey Logano's going to go by him. Oh.
Does that take any points off the final score for Kevin?
So right now,
He's going to have to make up for it in performance if he gets this
Penske
thing
guys,
going.
Omaha. They got to call a complete audible here. They're going around the 4. Oh, they're coming. Oh, wait. Oh.
pretty good.
Marty.
He proved me wrong, Steve. These drivers do have control of these cars.
I'm telling you.
Because he brought that thing right over here at us, looking and grinning.
Yeah, I mean, he's leading in my. That's an 8.5. He would have scored higher, but he sprayed us with the rubber.
He did spray us with the rubber.
I'm going to go 8.7. I liked it.
A 9.5 for skimming Marty Snyder in the median.
I like that. I like that. Taking a shot at Marty is worth a point.
Exactly. All right, so his teammate now, Brad Keselowski. So they couldn't pull off the choreography, but we'll see what Brad can do.
Brad
Oh, boy. He just skipped the first pitch.
Brad's possibly broken the... Oh, no, we're good. Got the left front locked up hard. He was trying to spin to the left. Car's trying to go to the right. A little out of sync with the vehicle.
He's covering some good ground, though.
Yeah, but he's way over on the other side of the intersection.
He's showing, those fans haven't had one up close yet.
True.
He's working that side over there.
And when the smoke clears, there he is.
There he is. All right.
It's hard to give these scores.
I got a lot going on between the mic and the... Oh, you're all the way down to a 5.9.
Well, they had a little stumble to begin with. You guys going to grade this seriously or what?
All right, here goes Chase Elliott.
Wow, Chase really got that thing flying around here.
It was short but sweet. Not as long as the others, but
No, you're tough.
6'2".
I'm going 8-0.
6'2". He's getting very specific.
You guys told me not to give away 10.
Well, I know
I haven't yet. I haven't.
I'm giving a 9.5 to Jolo.
I tell you,
We're easy.
so
We're suckers.
Chase's smoke has set in, though.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah, it would be good to clear this out so we can grade properly.
Yeah, like whoever, I can't even see who this. Oh, this is Kurt. Kurt's really getting
All
this.
right, hometown boy, Kurt Busch.
Yeah, good duration, and he came out of the donuts, continued the burnout down into the street. Great form on the exit.
7.1.
7.1, yes.
All right.
That's a great
You
score.
and I are...
This is a great score.
Dale Jr. is tough on the burnout. That
Oh,
8.4.
and look at them pushing Harvick
no.
out. Oh, what a shame. Harvick.
A lot of displeasure from the fans.
Oh.
Nothing probably Harvick had it. Nothing Harvick could do. Hopefully they can get that fixed. He's
Just
going to
a
want it.
pity, 0.5.
0.5 for showing up.
I'm going to hold my score. I might get to see a Harvick burnout before this is over.
I don't know.
You're optimistic.
I'm not giving up.
Oh, man.
I'm going to give up. It's not over. There's
He
more
was
to
worried
go.
about not getting tire smoke. He didn't get anything going there. Harvick. All right, so who do we have lined up next there? Is that the 20 of Eric Jones? Is he
I see
next?
the 88 of Alex Bowman.
Alex
I believe
Bowman.
is next.
That's right.
Oh, man.
So we'll get him up in the queue. He's fired up his engine.
All right, he rolls in. A lot of guys.
Speed.
A lot of guys start from a standstill. He came in at a rolling start.
And he has the world's tallest passenger in there.
I agree.
Did you see that?
Wow, how is that possible? Why is that? The guy's head's really in the roof. I think we're going to lose a tire here shortly. Oh, nice.
All right.
Man, those Goodyears are tough. These are the tires that they're going to run this weekend in Vegas. All brand new Vegas race tires. You guys money's worth out of that.
Listen, I'm 7.8 for the standard.
How about the top 7.1 as well? Pretty much similar to Curtis. Eric Jones out there now. thing that Eric's is lacking to me is noise. Seems like he's in third gear here.
It's like a one-dimensional burnout here.
Very, very good exit. Look at that form on the exit, though.
All right, I've been hanging out with Dale Jr. too much.
I know. I'm actually getting tough.
Oh, it's 6.9 on that one.
7.2.
Smooth exit.
Kyle Larson, who did not get to participate last year. It's his turn.
Oh, he's already blew the tires. He blew the rear tires. Had to exit early.
Better than last year. And that was Ryan Blaney in the 12th car.
I'm going to go a 5.2 on the because a little short for Larson there. Oh, Blaney's came to a stop
Is this
here.
over, or is this a teaser like Denny's? Nope. All right. Well, it kind of fell short on the end
Kind of an
there.
awkward ending there. Awkward.
Yeah.
That's how maybe he leaves the park.
I mean, if this was diving, there was definitely a splash or something that
Yeah.
wasn't quite as.
Yeah. Toes weren't pointed on that one at all. All right, young William Byron, it's first playoff.
5.8.
Scale. He hasn't won at the Cup Series.
Oh,
so
look here.
This is his first Cup burnout.
Yeah. Lack of control on exit there. A lot of guys a little smoother. I mean, I got to be honest. 7.9. Wow.
Man, dry race is tough for a lefty. I know.
I just don't want to be played by your high score.
This is Eric Almirola.
I think. Man, that motor sounds strange to me. I think we're down on the cylinder here. Which I might have to give him a little extra score.
Like he's working harder.
Yeah. He's working harder with this engine. Very nice.
All right. He covered a lot of ground. Still going.
Oh, wow.
I feel he's working
I liked that.
with short equipment, so I'm going to give him 8.0. I think he was short on motor.
I believe the motor is finally left.
Yep.
7.3. The motor has left the building.
That was, all right, well, I think he did pretty well considering what he was working with. Who's up next? We got Clint Boyer, it looks like, waiting in the wings.
We got a lot of fluid out there, too.
There's debris.
This could be good or bad for Clint.
Yep. I can see his smile from here.
Clint making this run solo. Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Look at him play to the crowd. He's playing to the crowd, and it's working.
Nice. I think that Clint tried to go through all the gears and do the burnout in fourth. That's what happened there.
I'm going to
Pretty
give him,
impressive.
I think, just the standing burnout.
At the end, I give him an 8.7.
7.2. Very good score.
All right.
Ryan Newman, who was given free rein to tear this car up. All right.
Yeah, pretty good. There's a clear winner in my mind. It's not Newman, but there is a
6.7.
clear winner.
6.7.
I'm going to say an outright winner for me was Joey Logano.
Joey Logano, hands
Yeah,
down.
absolutely.
Yeah, that one was pretty easy. What did you think overall, Junior?
You know, I really enjoyed it. I wanted to see some tires blow, but maybe these Goodyears are just too good today. Joey was impressive. Not only was he controlling where he was taking the car, but he was looking over here at us, smiling, saying, hey, look what I'm doing. I'm really good at this. He's won a lot of races, and he's the defending champion. He did good for himself.
And aren't you glad that we weren't standing here scoring you last time you were out there?
I was glad that the tire didn't blow out, nothing hit me. All right, I was really nervous about parts or something coming this way. We're very close, so I was a little nervous about that.
All right, party is not done yet. We're going to see if we can get some of those drivers. Hopefully we can talk to Joey, who is our winner. We're going to see if we can get him back out here. Don't go away, more Burnout on the Boulevard. On Las Vegas Boulevard, because there was a lot of rubber laid down, a lot of it flying hit us. It was Joey Logano that sprayed us with a bit of rubber.
Well, yeah, you were right. We had the best seat. I mean, this is such a great event. It was a great seat here. I was impressed. All the drivers. I feel a little bad. I won't lie. I feel a little bad for Kevin Harvick.
Yeah.
He kind of foreshadowed. He was nervous about the performance last year, and unfortunately, it downgraded to no burnout this year. I feel a little bad for the driver of the 4.
Yeah, I do too. I was hoping he'd get that thing sorted out and be able to fall into the tail of the field and try to give it a go. But who do y'all think? I think Joey Logano took the cake, man. He was pretty good. A lot of the guys doing a great job out there. Nobody blew any tires. I'm just really surprised by that. That's kind of I wanted to see tires on fire. You know, it's possible. We've seen that before at racetracks. These tires can catch on fire. There you see Joey right there.
And now we all decided he was the clear-cut winner of this.
And our numbers, our scores show that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
When we tallied up our scores, which were probably difficult to read, it does show Joey Logano. But then a little bit of a surprise, because we've now rated the next 2 SHR drivers, Eric Almirola 2nd and Clint Boyer 3rd, and I don't really feel like that's a true reflection of our feelings.
I think I graded it on a curve because I thought their cars sounded a little sick.
Yeah.
So that's a driver, maybe not a burnout rating, that's more of a driver. I thought they did a lot with less. I think these teams, they're going to have to sharpen their pencils a little bit. This is going to be like the pit crew competition. You're going to have to prep a car to come out here. You just can't just load something up. I mean, you earn the right to do a burnout. You need the great equipment.
Yeah, so Marty was telling us that in the Stewart-Haas cars were crate motors, and that's basically a stock engine you buy at a dealership. And that's why it sounded the way it sounded. So I agree with that. We gave Eric the benefit of the doubt because he was working with less, and he did a lot more than a lot of other guys did, and ended up, I think, breaking the crank on that motor because all the fluid poured out of the bottom of it as he pulled off the intersection.
Well, and then I think that because of what we saw Denny Hamlin do last year, I think that we probably graded him down a little bit because we were expecting parts to be flying off, some body work to be flying off that 11 car.
Well, and we have the tough judge.
Well,
and
that's
I feel
true.
like, you know, we really need to talk about format for next year. Are we averaging them? Are we throwing out the low score? I mean, I feel like we had one tough judge. You couldn't get anything over an 8.
I think after about 4 burnouts, I had forgotten what I gave the other guys score-wise, so I kind of wasn't even sure exactly what a good score was anymore by the end of this thing. But Joey was a clear-cut winner for me. Eric Almirola was right up there, too.
And how about the ride-along? Everyone, by the way, getting a spectacular view riding in the passenger seat of those. What was with the one passenger who must be 11 feet tall?
And Alex Bowman's car.
We got to get that seat lowered or something.
I mean, Alex is a tall guy, and Alex looks like he needs a phone book. The other guy looks like he's sitting on one.
Was that a real person or a mannequin?
One of those things to use the HOV lane.
Yeah.
We need Marty Snyder to get to the bottom of that story ASAP because, and I think I actually graded Alex up based on his passenger's profile.
Man, yeah, look at that guy. That ain't a real person. Who is that?
I don't know. We really need to get to the bottom of it. And, okay, by the way, speaking of Joey Logano, because he put on such a great show, he nearly skimmed Marty. Marty, have you recovered, by the way? Because that had to give you a little bit of a fright.
I have, Kelly. I really wasn't frightened, but I'm more concerned that he got extra points for almost hitting you guys and almost hitting me, and that's probably why you won the competition. So I guess good job. I don't know.
You say almost. I thought I had plenty of distance, you know.
You know.
Inside the car, you really feel pretty safe. I felt fine. I don't know how you felt, but it doesn't really matter.
Me jumping over on the curb that made you think I was safe or what?
I liked watching you guys while I was doing it. I went for more technical instead of the big smoke. That way I can do it a little longer, and I may have kissed up to the judges a little bit as I got close to them, and waved and gave them a smile, and then I wanted to scare the crap out of you, which I successfully did. And is there a trophy for this?
No, just really a pat on the back. So there you go. That's
Pride. I'll take the pride.
Pride. That's it. That's all you get. So your plan, your playground drawing you did with Brad kind of blew up when Harvick blew up, right?
Yeah. So I guess when Harvick's car wouldn't start, I tried to push him and pop start Kevin, but his car wouldn't refire, and then they wouldn't, I guess, we couldn't communicate to the officials that what we were trying to do because the motors were loud and they're rushing me to go. And I was like, well, our awesome master game plan didn't come through, but, at least I still won, right?
This is a terrific sign of things to come, I feel like, in the playoffs for you, Joey.
Exactly. This really transfers over to the racetrack.
All right. Joey with the win. Congratulations. High five on that. Thanks for not hitting me, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll get you next time.
Thank you. He'll get me next time. Thanks. Gee, thanks, Kelly, right?
But yeah, I think it worked. He said he was playing up to us, and that actually worked because he made eye contact. He got really close to our stage here, so he knew what he was doing.
I mean, you got to be a showman. It's more than just. I mean, Denny. I give Denny points for getting out. These drivers, we always see him inside the race car with the helmets on.
Right.
So these fans have lined the street. So he got out a little bit. Clint had the hand wave a little bit, but unfortunately for all those drivers, the three of us had the dry erase boards, and Joey Logano played right to our attention.
Yeah, I talked to Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney before the event and asked them about if they had anything in store like last year where they did the nose-to-nose burnout. And I said, hey, actually, how did that come about? Did you imagine they planned this out for weeks, right? No, they planned it out just like the Penske boys did right before the burnout. They didn't have anything like that for us today. But hopefully after they watch this show and see how many people are paying attention to this burnout next year, they're going to come a little bigger.
Well, and I think Joey Logano has another great suggestion, and we're going to take this home, a trophy. Has to be a trophy presentation.
You know what? There needs to be a briefcase full of cash. That's how people respond. Hand them money.
Vegas style.
Hand them money.
That's
right.
very Vegas.
Yeah, I like that.
I like it too. All right, so the real question is going to be who's doing a burnout Sunday evening and lock themselves, because it's probably going to be one of those 16 drivers that wins, I would guess, on Sunday and get themselves locked into the next round.
So up in the booth, Dale Jr. and I, the screen, we get to see all the drivers on. The playoff drivers are a different color. And for these first three races, they'll all be at the front of the field. It'll look like the screen is shaded that way because we expect these 16 to run up front. I don't see a surprise winner. It's definitely going to come from one of these 16. I do have some question marks about the race. It was early in the season when this rules package was still very new. The weather was completely different. A lot of guys have talked about how this package has evolved over the year with what the crew chiefs have done. You said the crew chiefs have made it drive a lot worse, but the cars are a lot faster. So which car is actually going to drive the best? I think handling could be an issue in the heat.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's going to be over 100 degrees, at least predicted for Sunday. So track's going to be, even at 4 o'clock, I mean, the hottest temperature of the day is around 4 or 5 o'clock. So this is really going to be a rough racetrack for these guys, even if it goes into night. Still a track that's wide. They can run the bottom through the bumps in turn 1 and 2. They can run high around the wall. It's going to be fun to see where these guys put their race cars and how they try to advance through the field. These wide racetracks, I think, play into their hand a little bit with the aerodynamics on these cars. So it should be a lot of fun for that. In the last 31 playoff races, I think only one's been won by a non-playoff driver. So, Steve, you're right. The playoff guys are all going to be up front vying for the win. It's hard to predict. There's not a clear – last year we were saying big three, big three, big three all season long right into the playoffs. We're not saying that this year. There is no big three. There's about 6 or 8 of these guys that can get the job done Sunday.
They're all smiling now.
Yeah,
they won't
we'll
be smiling tomorrow. It'll be business.
It all comes down Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. We're not done here on the Strip, so don't go away. We'll be back to wrap up Burnout on the Boulevard next. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Win your battles. Earn your name. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR.
I'm out of my luck. I'm taking my chances with all the odds in my favor. I'm shooting for
going to be a busy weekend out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and it all kicks off tomorrow with XFINITY Series practice at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. It's going to end with Monster Energy Series final practice 7:30 that night, and that's all in anticipation for qualifying, and then the big race on Sunday, the first playoff race for these Cup drivers, and it really could set the tone for the 10 race playoffs, and what schedule it is. This first round, a lot of drivers think is sneaky tricky.
Well, I think really that's part of the conversation. Just to remind the fans at home, 16 drivers have entered the playoffs. After every 3 race schedule, 4 drivers will be eliminated. And when you look at that schedule, round 1, Las Vegas, then Richmond, and the Roval. And every round kind of has that wild card. Probably the Roval in the first round, the second round, probably Talladega, the round of 8. I think Martinsville is probably the toughest of the tracks, and all of that is just to have a chance to win the championship in Miami.
Yeah, with the Roval especially, the drivers got to run that last year for the first time, but they've now reconfigured the backstretch chicane, so there's a little new twist to that racetrack. It should change it. And not only will it change that particular area, but it'll also change the speed that they can generate all the way back around the front straightaway and change how they run that final chicane onto the up to the flag stand. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, and I think that's going to be a challenge for the drivers to overcome throughout the weekend and find speed through that section of the track. So even though they have a year with the Roval, it's still going to be a learning phase for them, I think, when they go back there.
Well, you mentioned learning. One driver I'm really going to pay attention to is William Byron. I want to see if the first-time playoff contender can lean on his crew chief. You know, Jimmy Johnson, not in the playoffs, but his former crew chief, Chad Knaus, is. He's gone for the 16th time he's in the playoffs. And can a driver lean on the crew chief? I don't know if you can anticipate what's going to come.
Well, that's my question to you, Steve, is if you're not in the playoffs, I mean, if you're Chad Knaus, you are in, does that team of Jimmy's help you being out of the playoffs? Obviously, they're not competing for the championship. Can you go to them and have them testing and trying things that maybe you don't have the time to be able to put in your race car during a race weekend?
I think it's going to be a difficult ask. We have a 7-time champ, 83-time winner who has been very vocal that he wants to turn his team around and get back to victory lane. So he wants to help his teammates, but only perhaps after he goes to victory lane. So I think the 48 already has a pretty big to-do list.
Well, we did hear Chase Elliott say that Jimmy would be a huge asset for him and that he would certainly be leaning on the 7-time champion in any way he can. And we know that Jimmy's a great teammate, will certainly do what he can. But to your point, he's still laser focused on getting his team headed in the right direction, looking ahead to 2020.
Well, and you mentioned the race on Sunday. The pressure really starts tomorrow in practice. If I'm a crew chief, Thursday nights were always the worst, the most sleepless, because all the preparation, now it's all the preparation all year, is to get to Las Vegas to have a chance to make a run at a championship. And if that car unloads and has a mechanical issue, doesn't drive like you anticipate, just as a bad practice, it can set the tone for the weekend, if not the whole playoffs.
Yeah, do you guys have a dark horse, maybe a real underdog like a Ryan Newman that you're pulling for a little bit to try to make a splash in these playoffs?
Well, I think Eric Almirola is the driver that we've seen had such a great year at Stewart-Haas last year, and this year has just been less flashy, still solid in the playoffs. I think it would be nice to see him try to advance. I think it's going to be through points. I don't see them going to victory lane, but maybe through points. I think him, Ryan Newman are going to be a good battle in this first round.
Yeah, that 10 team of Eric Almirola, they haven't always lacked speed, but it's been sort of the execution. They haven't really been able to put together a complete race. If they can start doing that, don't forget, he finished 5th in the championship a year ago. So I think even just having that experience of getting through the rounds a bit will be beneficial to him.
And the 2 drivers I don't know how to guess, Chip Ganassi Racing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Kurt Busch and Kyle Larson, I wouldn't be shocked if they win, wouldn't be shocked if they struggle. I really cannot handicap that organization.
Yeah, I think Ryan Newman, he's hard to pass, especially if he's racing for a championship. It's going to be fun to watch him.
Well, what a day it has been here already in Las Vegas. Burnout on the Boulevard was absolutely fantastic. Congrats to Joey Logano that we crowned as our own Burnout on the Boulevard champion. Looking forward to a lot of action ahead this weekend here in Vegas.
Oh,